our interesting subject is the conflict between the Ukraine and Russia and how affect the housing market.
But first, let's hit it. Hi, this is Alan Victoria. Welcome to our channel.
And if this is your first time in our channel and you wanted to know everything about Greenville, Winterville, Pitt County and surrounding area till Raleigh, we are here to help you. Please subscribe in our channels and also get notified when we put the new videos.
Honestly, I get calls, texts, and emails all the time from people looking to move, relocate, upsize, downsize right here in Greenville, North Carolina and the surrounding areas. And we loved helping you. Maybe you want a country life, maybe you want to be in our city of Greenville. And we are here to help you 100% of the time. So if that is who you are, please call us. And we will definitely talk because I love helping you and my husband loves helping. So now let's get into our really interesting subject.
Without further ado, we're gonna start our discussion. Basically, this conflict, this is one of the largest military operation that we had in the Europe since the Second World War, no?
Right, and just for background information, my husband lived in Europe many years. Also, just for Ukraine, my nephew is actually on the lines right now, so that's always very scary. And so we're going to kind of take this serious subject and kind of bring it into what we know best, which is the real estate. But this is not political commentary. This is just us telling you how we see it affecting our lives every day.
Therefore, for example, we can say even in the luxury housing right now, because many of the home buyers in the luxury, they use their cryptocurrency and also what they use besides
of course, stocks as well.
Stocks to pay for those houses.
And since we know that the government is about to drop some regulations on crypto today, which is March 8th.
March 8th.
If you're watching this after today, we know that number is going to change too. But we do know that luxury market has been already affected directly from this war.
Exactly. Therefore, let's talk about you as a home buyer or home seller. What's going to happen?
Maybe you're not luxury, but this kind of does have a trickle down effect. So let's just talk about how it affects. There's a drop in confidence that can happen with the war. No, is that what you were trying to say?
Exactly. Therefore, uncertainty on the market, the stock market specifically, and fears of the buyers, the potential buyers that this, if God forbid, full-blown war in the Europe might affect the inflation. No?
Oh, right. But I mean, it causes us to pause or be more hesitant.
Exactly.
People stay in their houses, and this is already very low. Sellers control a lot already. And if you're a buyer, I know that's already frustrating. And if people aren't moving, it means that there are less houses available for others. So, I mean, because there's no other house, they're not moving or staying, it affects new construction. It affects
Therefore, my wife is jumping ahead. Escalating inflation basically is hurting the renters, the buyers and the builders, those that they wanted to provide a new construction for you.
Right. So just also from history, just for buyers as well, during the Persian Gulf War, which is in 2002, 2003, the interest rates actually increased because of the war. So we do have interest rates in history, just recent history of 20 years ago. We know from that if God forbid ever something happens, interest rates increase. We're already seeing interest rates go up, which just means it's more harder for a buyer.
Therefore, let's say this conflict basically put a pressure in couple items. Mm-hmm. First, the oil prices is going to go up.
Right.
And the food prices also is going to go up. And
which
what's going to happen?
Inflation.
Which is in inflation.
Which is happening already.
Basically affect the consumers, no?
Absolutely.
Which we are me, you, and your family.
Right. And it also affects our housing prices and our housing values. So people tend to stay where they are if you're a seller because of all of this uncertainty. And it also then means with this uncertainty, buyers who want to get a piece of the pie are struggling to get that piece. And I mean piece of the pie by getting that home that they want.
Therefore, Russia is the second largest providing oil and product of the oil to the basically in the world.
Yeah, but luckily for us in America, we do not depend too much on Russian oil. It's very small. Joe Manchin said on the news that I saw, which is random because I don't watch news, but he said it would affect us about 10 cents a gallon, but our gallons are already being affected from other pressures. So we do have other things affecting that gas, plus this ban in March 8th, 2022 that's happening. So now we have that.
Therefore, what's going to happen with the higher oil and gas price? Basically, our utility bill is going to go higher because we're using the gas, for example, for heating. At least we are using it.
And electricity, which also runs
electricity.
on, which means open our windows more.
And also is going to affect on the global supply chain. It makes it disrupted.
Right.
Which
even already more, another supply disruption.
Which basically, if we go to the new construction industry, that's going to affect even the supply chain, whatever materials they're using for the housing, even affect more. And we already, for the new construction, the last 13 months, we had a 40% jump over all the supplies. And that's also helped to climbing this number even higher and higher.
And then when you look at the stock market, also you see those people who typically buy luxury with their stock options. Now, typically what happens during a wartime, they don't buy stocks, they go into something which is more safer. They're going to go into the bond market. So they're going to go into commodities that are safe, like gold. So it's just natural effects of what happens when we're uncertain, which then means it trickles to the housing market, which means the luxury homes stay a little longer on the market, which then affects other things. But that doesn't mean that prices are going to go down. It means prices are actually increasing because of this inflation.
Therefore, as my wife said, most of the people like us, they go toward the bond market, which is safest from the government, and that's actually this safety of the bonds leading to drop the mortgage rates that
which we're feeling right now.
The last 2 weeks from end of the April 23rd to March 5th, twice the interest rate dropped, each time almost 0.25%. Therefore, the February 17 the average interest rate was 392, and in the beginning of the March went to 362.
Right, which means this drop in mortgages can be helpful, but we also just looked at history, as we talked about earlier, and what the government did as a result. So, I mean, if you're looking for a time to buy and you're worried about those interest rates, there's this window of opportunity right now, which is, again, scary because supply is just not there. So what else?
And also another news is for even this and whatever this conflict brought, and also from the inflation point, Federal Reserve has 2 meetings on the March 15 and March 16, which the time that we are recording this video, we are not updated, which is March 8.
Right, so we'll find out next week.
And that also is part of the game that we understand what's going to happen with the interest rate.
Right. So inflation. Now this week, there's just an uncertainty with those interest rates. Also, it means that if people have less in stock, when they have less cash, which is less for down payment, higher interest rates, that high cost of construction, that slowing new construction is going to just further reduce supply in an already less supply market that we have. So we do have this shrinking. And then at the same time, I can tell you that the Raleigh market I read on, according to Zillow.com, I read today, is now more expensive than Atlanta. And we are getting the after effects of that here in Greenville as well. I mean, prices are increasing because we're near Raleigh, but we are not Raleigh because we are definitely the coast, more coastal. But and you can watch our video on Raleigh versus Greenville. But yeah, it does kind of affect us here because we're not that far from the big capital.
Therefore, what I got from my wife's statement was the high fuel and oil price is basically it could leads to the recession and the volatility of the stock market, that it was disrupted during this time. Also, it could help that shrink the demand and supply.
We've already had there happen. So now let's talk about, will they go up or down according to 2022? Zillow has said sales are growing at 41%. But then there's also said 41% slowdown last year, so you never really know. Can't trust these experts. 18% it's going to stay the same. Some people are saying it's going to get worse. That's just we can't predict the future.
But we don't have that magic ball again to see what's going to happen. But that what we got from our research from economists, that they have this is still there like a confusion. Like some people say 41% the sales going to go up, 41% market is going to slow down. But to give you a picture about the supply, in the whole January to December of 2021, in whole United States, they were 6.32 million houses sold. That includes the available home or older home and also new construction. And out of that 6.32, there were 5.61 million, no?
Right, just facts that you might not realize as well, according to what I have read in the news recently. Also, probably Zillow, but I don't quote me on that one, but I can say that I read that in the last month, 70% of all homes in America were in a bidding war. That is 70%. So that means that there are 30% that aren't, which is amazing. Maybe we can find that deal for you, but there are 70% of homes that are absolutely just in these bidding war craziness. So that means that prices are increasing.
Therefore, out of all this number that I told, 11% of this sold home in 2021 just was the brand new construction. 89% of them, they were existing home.
With those bidding wars.
Exactly.
Okay, so what did Zillow has also forecasted? I know we're throwing Zillow out at you a lot today. But what did Zillow forecast?
Zillow forecast is based on the performance, no?
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens for the household? The household, because we want to talk about demand and supply, no? What is our demand? We had the increase of the household from 2010 from 116.7 million household to 126.8 million in 2021. Therefore, this is increase of 10.1 million of the household. And what's going to happen? All this household, all those young people that they get married, they need a house, no?
Absolutely.
And we have the shortage also of the new construction because we have the existing home and also we wanted to provide for that 10.1 million household house too.
Okay, just really quickly, let's go through some mortgage interest rates just for historical purposes, and then we're going to kind of tie it to war. 1971, end of Vietnam War, interest rates were at
7.29 to 7.73.
In 1981, they were...
what was the
1981?
81, they were 18.63%.
Honestly, this is exactly why that whole we're going to lower the interest rates campaign of the president at the time won, and why he became president in 1981. In 2008, we thought we were at historical lows.
We had like a 5.1 to 6.6%.
Then in 1993, that's interesting. I don't know.
Therefore, if we go to the 2014, we are between like a 4.17 to 4.52%. And right now,
the last year when we had those 2-point-something%, a lot of people refied. A lot of people are going to stay in their home because they took out this equity. Also, it's historic lows at that 2-point-something, and now we're back into the high 3s, low 4s, right? And those are, which
is still better than 2014 that we were talking about the last.
Or 1981 when it was like 18%, 8.63%, which is craziness now. Okay, so anyway, I just kind of want to throw that history out at you. We talked about how the Persian Gulf actually increased those interest rates. So we're going to see what the Fed does next week. We already know that this pandemic and the after effects of the pandemic has caused appreciation, inflation. Homeowners are typically staying in their homes, and we're cashing out on. We're not typically cashing out on homes. You're staying in a home, which means buyers who need homes are not able to get into homes. Also, you have investors coming in too, but that's a whole different video.
And as my wife said, and also what we said, the affordability also because of this conflict and inflation of all the buyers went down, and we're gonna see that mortgage interest rate went up since last year.
Yeah, well, they went up already.
But-
We'll find out next week what happens.
But again, in March 15 and 16, we're going to see what's going to happen with the Federal Reserve and then where we exactly
because
standing.
when we were talking about these interest rates before, there was no such thing as like possible geopolitical any question. So now, how does that affect us again? I don't know. We don't have crystal ball. We're just looking at the same things you are. They were going to increase those interest rates, but now I don't know. I don't know.
And this is the information that we provided for you in this video. We
Stay
hope
safe.
you stay safe and you love what we provided. Please subscribe on our channel and don't forget to call us because we are here for you to take off all the stress out of your shoulder.
Yes, absolutely. And if you are looking to come to something like nice small town Greenville, North Carolina, which I love being in, we're here to help you.
And please call us, and we have our number behind of us.
Awesome.
And thank you for watching and see you soon, guys.
Bye.